Greetings, builder, and welcome back to the Lapis Kingdom. I am the Blue Regent, and today we are going to be working on improving our sugarcane farm's appearance, figuring out a new home for our berry farm, and basically getting the decoration elements of the trade hall going, because now that the villager breeder is more or less ready to go, I want to have set up for it an endpoint. Once we get that going, we can officially kick off the villager breeder and our survival episodes, which means that we can then get more efficient trading going with all of the items that we've kind of been hoarding this entire time. So if you're ready, grab your tools, grab your work boots, and let's get started. Now, there isn't necessarily anything wrong with our sugarcane farm that we have going on here, except for it's just a little chaotic. We are kind of crowded on space. There's some holes in places, there's flowers, there's this flower bed, and so I really just kind of want to tidy it up, make this space feel a little bit more planned, like people intentionally planted sugarcane here, and then from here, maybe just kind of build a retaining wall, basically pick a height, push everything back, and then set it up so that the town kind of ends at wherever the retaining wall is, and down here is the sugarcane farm, and the only way to get down here is going to be some designated path over here. So the first step is going to be to get rid of this flower planter that has been here this entire time. I don't have anything against this flower planter. It's just in a really weird spot, and it's kind of in the way of progress. My next thought is to figure out which of these heights I want to decide is the cutoff height for the hills. And I'm kind of torn between this height and this height. With this height, I get plenty of space down here, and I think that's the one that I'm going to go with, actually. I think that's all I needed, was to say that out loud. The more I start to terraform around the village, the more I start to think, someday, I'm going to end up having to tear all this down. And I wouldn't be mad about it, but it is an interesting thought. I think that there's going to come a time where either all of this is going to be buried under mountains, or Stormwind City is going to overtake this, and all of this is going to be completely torn down and rebuilt into something entirely different looking. If this gets swallowed up by progress, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it is funny to think that someday all of this work may be completely consumed. However, in that same vein, depending on how deep into the Warcraft story arc we go, there may be a day that Stormwind gets torn down and then gets rebuilt in a completely like horde controlled fashion. That would be super fun, but man, that's going to have a lot of weird emotions with it. So we've got one more layer to bring this down. I think I'm going to come in like this. So that took a weird amount of time to do, but now I've got this all shored up. And so from here, a retaining wall will be put up, and now all of this lower area is officially going to be turned into sugarcane farm. So basically anything that isn't up against this wall, so this first row out here is off limits, but everything else is going to have sugarcane in it. Is that where we're going to get our sugarcane from? No, because we are also going to bury, and I think where I'm going to put it is possibly underneath where the tower is going to go. So maybe somewhere in here. But we're basically going to bury under the sugarcane farm an automatic sugarcane farm. And just like the automatic pumpkin and melon farm, as long as we're in the area, it's constantly going to be generating sugarcane, which is great because that is going to automate paper production, and that is going to automate sugar production. Plus, we will have extra sugarcane basically forever for any amount of decorating we want to do with sugarcane as essentially a block. So I have the most basic version of this retaining wall set up, and it's just a cobblestone wall that kind of wraps around the entire cliff face here. And if we come up here, I actually came up one level higher than the ground level just to kind of represent that it's really meant to keep anything from eroding down into the river. I gathered all the sugarcane from this immediate area, and so now I'm going to start setting up the farm part. And what is going on here? Well, whatever. Sugarcane has to border water. If I want to plant sugarcane in this area, one of these blocks needs to have water in it. So let's say if I put water here, I can then plant sugarcane in these 4 places. And for ease of getting around, I'll throw a waterlogged slab in. And there's 4 sugarcane spots. Because of the fact that I originally started my sugarcane off of the shoreline, I'm going to have a couple spots where it isn't really the most... Oh, hello. Do you have anything? Do I want bubble coral? I don't right now. Thank you for the offer, but I think I'm okay. Yeah, I'm sure. So like here, if I put water here, is this the most efficient place to put it? No. However, this isn't necessarily where we're going to be harvesting our sugarcane from in the first place. And so this is going to be more decorative overall. And so efficiency isn't really the focus here. I really just want this to be a big, very bright green space just full of sugarcane. There's a lot of waterlogged slabs that are weirdly close to each other or inefficiently placed, and that's okay. I really want the gaps in here. I like that they're going to be kind of irregularly placed, and I want this to look full, so I want there to be a lot of sugarcane too. And so, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to look at this and think like, wow, that's a lot of sugarcane, not, wow, that's not the most efficiently laid out sugarcane farm. And because the first thing is the reaction I want, that's all I really care about. And if you sit even from here, with most of these only 1 block high, it looks full. And that's all I'm trying to accomplish. After doing a lot of water collecting and digging and saturating slabs, the decorative part of the sugarcane farm is done. And I like how it looks. I like the most how it looks when you're down close. Like when you're down at this level, it looks pretty... It's very green, it's very full, and it's going to help with this like consistent gray here. So I like how this looks. And I kind of feel like this kind of adds a little bit to the lore of this house here. And if we do ever end up building any other of these like low-class houses around here, we can kind of assume possibly that that's who works in this sugarcane field. Now the next thing to work on is improving this berry farm. Originally this berry farm was put here, and it did a perfect job for what it was meant for, which is producing berries. However, they're kind of close to each other, and this is now starting to take up kind of prime real estate. We're going to move all of these berry bushes, and we're also going to collect all the berries from them, because this is actually going to allow us to have an even bigger berry farm moving forward. The next thing I'm going to do is I actually want to collect some of these spruce leaves. And the reason is I'm going to use these to help me make what will hopefully look like a slightly fuller bush and just get a little bit more shape and definition and visual appeal out of... Is that everything? Oh, thank you. A little more visual appeal out of the berry bushes. I've been doing a little running around trying to figure out where I want the berry bushes to go. And I came over here near the logging camp because I kind of figured maybe this would be an early thing that would have been set up in the village. And so maybe the berry bushes would end up over here. But then I started thinking maybe down here in this clear space down by the water with like the same idea in mind, but basically these are kind of like some of the early areas in the village that people were using as like food and resource gathering and stuff. So the berry bushes that we're setting up, I think I kind of want to do this kind of thing and essentially imply that this is like the center of the bush maybe, and then these are like the offshoot parts where the berries come from. So I'm going to put a couple of these down and just kind of see if I like what it looks like. So this is the sweet berry patch, and I kind of wanted it to look a little bit like they cultivated this area over time, which is why you have these much larger bushes. And then kind of as farming got more advanced and they started getting a little more settled, they kind of like started to ignore this area or just kind of didn't need it as much anymore. And so I also have some just like kind of rogue individual sweet berry plants scattered around, kind of like the idea that maybe like raspberries, these shoot runners underground to start new plants, or maybe just as things eat the berries and they get spread, that's what's starting the new plants. So in the core here, I have these much larger, like they were taken care of bushes, and then kind of around the edge here, scattered around a little bit, I just have these smaller bushes, which is just a normal individual sweet berry bush, kind of set up to just look a little bit like I said, like these are just younger bushes that maybe haven't been as maintained and cared for and manicured as these much larger bushes. Probably somewhere over here in this hill, I'll have a hidden entrance. And so just like our other auto farms, this is going to be more of a decorative thing. I like this look of this like larger berry bush and kind of using 4 sweet berries around a block of leaves. I might have to play with what style of leaves that I'm going to use. I was really certain that the spruce was going to fit perfectly because they're from the same biome. Now I'm not 100% sure on that. So that'll be something that I'll play with. But this will be kind of a fun thing to use in like vineyard type settings. I can have rows and rows and rows of these little like 4-point berry bushes, and they'll be a little bit more spread out, and we can use like fences and stuff to make it look like they're what's keeping everything kind of in and tight. And so I feel like this is something that I'm going to be able to use a lot decoration wise, and to just kind of have different kinds of farms outside of just the standard pumpkin, wheat, melon, carrot, potato. So the next big project we're going to be working on is getting the visual part of the villager trading hall going on. And before we get started, there is a very depressing announcement to make. Some sort of horrible zombie outbreak has happened, and we are looking at the 2 remaining wandering around members of our villager trading hall. I don't know how this happened. I thought for sure that these guys would be safe, and clearly they weren't. So I'm going to try to get them trapped so that I'm not in danger, and then see if I can just kind of create a little holding cell for them until I can get a cure for them. Okay, so I've got the zombies trapped, which is cool. And now let's look at the... Yes, hello, good to see you. Let's take a look at all of this and see if we can figure out how we want to set this up. One thing I know is I want to have a 1-block gap between each villager. So I know that. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to start mining this out. That'll be step 1. And kind of get all this cleaned up, and then from there we'll figure out how everything else will play out. Now starting out, I think this is going to be more than enough room as far as space for a trading hall. Now this is obviously step 1, but each of these slots is going to be where each of the villagers go. So now the goal is to figure out how I want to pretty this up, and also to gather all of the diorite and granite because I'm going to want that for building. This is a start. And I like this. And a thing that I know, Mythical Sausage, in one of his more recent videos, talked about you can get the experience if you have the stair block there. So I know I want this. The tough thing is this could get really repetitive real quick. So with the power of off-camera work and a little bit of tweaking, I've adjusted this some, and I think I like this a little bit better. Or at least I like this as a start. I don't know if I like this being flush. However, I like where we're going here. Basically, I have this space set up so the villagers can chat with each other, which to me seems polite. And I wanted this to look kind of like it's just this underground area is more supported. But now that I'm looking at this, I think I want this spruce log to move in one. I think I like that better, and I think I would want to maybe do something like that. Or do I want to do that backwards? Well, I could also do an alternating thing, actually. Like this, and then back to number 1, and then to number 2. I might do that. I might do that because then it would be, you get just kind of like a nice design going all the way down. That might be what I do. And then every so many of these I could hang a lantern from. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. You both are very loud. But this is a start, and I think roughly that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna finish out the rest of this side. We'll take a look at it and see from there. Well, I made something kind of weird, but I like it. It's it's doing something weird here. So remember, I couldn't decide which version of this I liked. So then I decided to just carry it all the way down in this repeating pattern. And then from the slabs, I decided to go up with stairs as kind of like an extra support. And so now I have kind of like this alternating A-B pattern thing. And I like it. I like it a lot. It just isn't what I'm used to seeing like anybody do in Minecraft. I feel like usually like you decide one and then you go with it all the way down and it's symmetrical. And this is symmetrical because if you consider this as a whole piece, then this repeats the same thing. And so it's like an A-B pattern. And the A-B together when repeated is symmetry. So I like it. I like how it's not one continuous thing. It's just different than what I'm used to. So it's kind of throwing me off. Now, do I want to put fences? I don't think so. Do I want to put fences like up here? Oh, maybe I do. No, I don't. I'll leave that. I'll think about it. I'm not sure. But I definitely like this bottom part. And I like this weird thing that's happening here. It's just different. It's just different than what I'm used to. And that's throwing me off a little bit. but I'll get over that. So basically, this is what it's gonna look like, and then, you know, we'll have like a row of librarians, and maybe this side will all be cartographers. And then down this hallway, this might be like farmers and fishermen. And then down this way, it might be, I don't know, blacksmiths and clerics. And this might be tanners and fletchers or something. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to divide these up yet. But basically, this is the start of the trade hall. Do I like that? I really can't tell. Man, that's tough. I don't know if I really don't know. I wonder if I would like fence gates in there. I like that better. If I do anything, it's going to be fence gates. Because that actually touches the stairs. So this is where we are at for now. I have gotten this side started. Obviously, I still have some work to do on the other half of this wing. And I've got a lot of blocks in here that I want to dig out and then replace with smooth stone. We've got our zombie twins pit going on over here. We've got smooth stone stairs coming up, and then this is essentially what the trade hall is going to look like. I might put glowstone in between these spaces that are only 1 block wide and then put trapdoors over them. I haven't decided that yet, but one thing I have done here in the middle and kind of like the center of this trade hall wheel that it's eventually going to become is I have this nice shaped glowstone kind of coming down from the ceiling, and I kind of wanted it to have a semi-organic shape. This is kind of how glowstone appears in the nether, and I liked the idea of this looking like this, almost like it's grown, and it's crystal that's grown down. And so that's going to help keep this middle part better lit. And these 2 spokes are basically going to do the same thing that this one is doing and this one is starting to do. And we're going to carry this through, and this is going to be a big source of both emeralds and experience, and also going to be a faster way for us to get a hold of some stuff that takes a little bit of time or actually costs us experience to get, such as enchanted books and stuff. So this is going to be a huge boon for us in the long run, both as an experience farm, an emerald farm, and then also just it's going to give us an opportunity to get our hands on some items that normally we'd have to work a little bit harder for. So that is going to be it for today. I'm super excited about getting this started, and I'm super excited that the rest of this is going to get finished, probably off camera, but that also means that very soon here, the trade hub is going to be up and running, because this is basically the thing that is keeping us from finishing the villager breeder. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I hope you're pumped about that. And that is going to be it for today. I look forward to seeing you next time in the Lapis Kingdom. Have a great day. Bye.